as a musician, you get paid to leave your house, you know, for a year and a half at a time and not see your family. You get paid to travel all over the world. You get paid to like live in a hotel room. You get paid to have to promote yourself in a way, because that wasn't like how you started. You started off as a musician, but you wind up, like, your main job is being a PR man. You're a salesman. You go out there and you sell your wares, which in this case are the songs. But this little time that we spend playing is for free. You know what I mean? Like, this is stuff that we would have done whether anybody paid us or not. This is stuff that we were doing for years and years trying to make it happen. So this part is always fun. Like, if we get up here, we could be having the crappiest day of all days and doing, you know, like 700 interviews and flying 3 different flights a day. And when you get there and all of a sudden you're playing in front of people, it just kind of goes away. And this part is just fun and it feels good.
It's, you know, I mean, we eat, sleep, breathe music. You know what I mean? Like, when I'm not doing music, you know, out and playing for people or making albums or producing something or playing guitar, I'm thinking about a new record and I'm on iTunes. You know what I mean? Like, so this is not, it could never be viewed as work for me.
It's almost impossible to really relate to anybody the scope of what goes on to make that tour kind of get off the ground. Like, it's kind of this amazing thing that goes on for months and months at a time.
Traveling circus, you know?
Just so that every night you can get there and do this 2 hours that becomes like a really special thing. And if everything goes right, then that 2 hours every night is a really special thing for you, for everybody there. Like, that's the whole idea. You know what I mean? And the whole idea is that once you're there, nobody sees the seams. Nobody cares about how much work it went in there. Nobody cares that you had any other show. That night is the night.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the greatest, like, it's the reason why I do this for a living, is because for me, being on the road and having that 2 hours a night where you actually get there in a room full of your fans and you get to play music is kind of, it's the greatest gift that anybody could ever have. And so it's kind of amazing now. So every time now that we do an interview, like, so you guys know it's been 10 years? And we're like, Jesus, now we feel old, thank you.
We'll say it, it's the first album in 10 years that has all new songs on it.
Yep.
That's what it is. And so you heard a new song. You heard an old song. 3 a.m. was one of those songs where I go, God, where was I the first time I heard that song? It's one of those kind of songs. And so now, promoting a record now versus promoting a record then, like, social media has to be gigantic. Obviously, like, I touched on it, you guys are extremely active. Do you ever get on Twitter? And I know you guys are, you're extremely intelligent, extremely versed, and just witty.
Extremely.
And so, do you ever get... That was the butter before the big question. That's what that was. Do you ever send something on Twitter where you're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that?
All the time.
Yeah. Like what? Like what?
Well, you know, it's because I get asked a lot. They're like, do you really tweet, or do people tweet for you? And I'm like, do you see some of this stupid shit that I tweet? Like, come on. Really? Like, anybody else would, you know, Pat Buchanan is the devil. Do you know what you're about to get when you throw something like that out there? It just comes back at you. So yeah, I get into too many political debates. I try and stop being too free with my political ideas, because I realize that that's maybe not the forum for it always.
I had too much wine on Christmas Day, and you're gonna know why it was too much wine. And I was like, and I was really excited because there was a basketball game on, and there had been the strike. I was like, oh, I'm so excited! There's basketball. Screw baby Jesus. and it was out there for about 12 hours, I think, before I realized it was like this hate Twitter mail coming in. Like, yeah, that was one of those things I probably should have set out.
I realized that sarcasm doesn't translate when you write
That's it.
down.
That's it. That's
So
exactly
like sometimes you say
translate.
stuff, and if you don't know us, you don't realize that we have a horribly sick sense of humor. That's just how we are. Like we're kind of like there's like Frasier, and then there's It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and we're over here on this side of we're gonna try and say something that's gonna make you cringe of humor. And sometimes if you don't know us and you're not one of our friends, and you just see a tweet that says Jesus there.
What are your Twitter names?
Stalking Kyle.
And this is Rob Thomas. And you know why? Because Rob Thomas was taken. Because it's the most common name on the face of the freaking earth. It really is. Like on every corner of there's like a Bob Thomas Ford. Like everywhere you go. There's a guy that has I can't even have my own website. I had to get robthomasmusic.com because a guy had robthomas.com. And it's literally just a picture of him fishing. And he won't give it to me. And I'm like, I'll pay you for, I'd like to, and he's like, you could be robthomasfishing.com. And there's another Rob Thomas who's a famous screenwriter, Rob Thomas. He created Veronica Mars, and he was in Party Down. He was a writer and creator of.
That's the hardest thing is in these intimate settings to figure out a way to translate all the effort that you put into the arrangements of it, you know, because there's a lot of tracks and a lot of time goes into tempos and tones and all these things. You have to figure out a way to get that song to still translate, which we've always been good
Yeah,
about.
where it's kind of
Really
it's just
songs
the
we
melody
do.
and the lyric, you know, like that's what you kind of want to get across. So
Sure.
you almost have to strip away the record and pretend it doesn't exist, and just like you're writing a new song, and this is how you would do it if it was just two guitars.
Why boxes and why little yellow tags on every one? I've always been curious.
It is a great line. That's a good line.
Just between us, I did a lot of drugs back then.
It was a bit of a reference, is what he's saying.
So I had this idea of a rainmaker, and then what would I do with the rain? I would put them in boxes, and it made perfect sense to me at the time. It really did. Everything made perfect sense at the time. Pick me up and dust me off, and if I get too tired to make it, then be my breath so I can walk. If I need some other love, then just give me more than I can stand. And when my smile gets old and faded, and wait around, I'll smile again. It shouldn't be so complicated. Just hold me and then just hold me again. Can you help me? I'm bent, I'm so scared that I'll never get put back together. Keep breaking me in, and this is how we will end. How we will end. With you and me. Bent. If I couldn't sleep, could you sleep? Could you paint me better off? Could you sympathize with my needs? I know you think I need a lot. I started out clean, but I'm jaded. Just phoning it in, just breaking the skin. Can you help me? I'm bent, I'm so scared that I'll never get put back together. Keep breaking me in, and this is how we will end. How we will end. With you and me. Yeah, you and me. There's you and there's me, and we're bent, all of us. Stop and tell me it's never enough till I feel all your pieces. I mean, stop and tell me, keep bending me on till I'm complete.